What's going on, my exotic family? It's your boy Dre. Welcome back to another video. So I've been getting a lot of questions about the 4 new snakes I just got, and today it prompted me to make this video. And today I'm just going to talk to you guys about quarantine and the importance of quarantining, the benefits and everything like that. So stay tuned. It'll be a good video. I know I've touched on this topic before, but I guess it's time to just jump back into it. You can never talk about quarantine too much, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's go. All right, everybody, so welcome back to the video. Like I said, we're going to be talking quarantine today, why it's important and what it is, and I'll kind of walk you guys through my personal quarantine checklist, because I am quarantining 4 new snakes right now. I know I revealed 2 in a recent YouTube video a couple of weeks ago, and I'll do an updated video on them really soon, but you guys are going to have to wait. They all have names now, so I will introduce you to them by name, tell you their species, give you guys updates on them, but that's going to be weeks, probably actually a couple of months down the line, because they're still quarantining. We're only like a week and a half into it, and I quarantined pretty decently. So got my girl Nakia out here. She actually quarantined when I first got her about 45-50 days. She came in perfectly healthy. She's CBB, she's captive bred animal, Poker Ground Suriname, and I've never had any issues with her. But yes, so what is quarantine? Quarantine is the process of bringing home a new animal and setting them up in a minimalistic setup or enclosure to ensure that that animal is 100% healthy and that you won't run into any issues. And anything can happen when you buy a new animal. There are certain things that you never know until down the line, but I'm talking things like respiratory nidovirus, or any type of virus, parasites, mites, or anything like that. That all can be figured out through quarantine. And then also taking your animals to the vet. I do take my animals to the vet when I get them. I don't do it right away because, again, they've just been shipped, so they're already stressed. So after maybe that 30-day period, I take them to the vet just to not that I don't trust anybody. If I know the person, of course I trust them. However, you just never know where an animal is coming from, and I also just want to make sure that the animal has a clean bill of health, just to make sure they're gonna have a good life with me, So, but yeah, anyways, setting them up in a minimalistic enclosure because you want to ensure that nothing else happens to the rest of your animals. As you guys know, prior to the 4 snakes, I have 14 other snakes. You can see the 2 behind me that, of course, I don't want anything to happen to. So quarantining is the best way to ensure that that does not happen. Now, aside from setting them up in a minimalistic enclosure, I also quarantine them in a completely different room than my current snakes. So I don't want them around the current snakes because respiratory can be airborne as far as I'm concerned. But I don't want them to come in contact with any of my other snakes. You guys know sometimes I'll let Big Luther out here on the floor. I'll let him kind of roam the store a little bit just while I'm cleaning his cage or changing his water or anything like that. And when you have new snakes and they may or may not have some type of respiratory issue or anything like that, you don't want that to spread. Of course, we have germs, snakes have germs, and they can spread things between each other, and we want to prevent that as much as possible, which is why quarantine is a thing, which is why it is very important. Now, when I say minimalistic enclosure, I'll walk you through what that looks like. So I'm talking, depending on the size snake, obviously you want to make sure it's something that the snake can fit in. So me personally, I love to use Tupperware tubs, Christmas tree totes, for some of the larger snakes. And if it's a snake that's really large, then I'll make sure I have like a PVC or something they can fit in. But again, it's very minimalistic, so it's not decked out, nothing like that. Of course, they have heat, they have the basic necessities, heat, water. But what it looks like outside of that is the bottom, the floor part of it is layered with white paper towel, and I use white paper towel specifically because a lot of my snakes are dark colored snakes. So if I brought a snake home and it had mites, let's say, I don't want to use any dark paper towel because I want to be able to see these little black spots on the paper towel. So I use white paper towel specifically. That way I can see if there is any type of bug or any parasitic situations going on. I want to see that on the paper towel, so then I can start treating that, prevent that, and go from there. And then they have a hide, and like I said, the water bowl. That is it. Sometimes I'll add like a little plant in there to add a little twang to that thing, a little pizzazz. But outside of that, nothing too much that I add to the quarantine setups, because again, it is for you know, contamination purposes, and we're observing the animal, making sure the animal is acting healthy and safely. But again, you should still be meeting the needs of that animal, so temperature and humidity should be spot on. They should have of course a place to hide. Like the scrub that I have, it does have some climbing branches in the tub as well, so it can perch if he wants to. So definitely want to make sure that that is a thing, because that is very important. And then even outside of quarantine, even if I know the animal is 100% healthy, I still use quarantine as a means to establish my animals. And what I mean is, I don't get my animals and just immediately put them in this decked out enclosure. No, they kind of have to transition over here, because, you know, 9 times out of the majority of my snakes that I have been shipped to me, because so they already come in stressed. So I want to put them in something that is gonna meet the needs of their husbandry, but also where they feel secure as well. So I like to use the plastic totes from either Target or Walmart, or anywhere that has plastic totes, but specifically the ones that have the locking lids on the side, so we don't want any escapees, we don't want anybody getting out, right? So I use those, and I love them, and I like them because they come in a variety of sizes. So you can get the flat ones that are long, you can get the kind of the taller ones that are also long, you can get some smaller ones, medium size, whatever the case may be. They have plenty sizes of them depending on where you go. So I love that about them. I drill a couple holes in each side, and I drill them in the side specifically because I do like to stack my tubs. So if you drill them on the side, you can stack them and not have to worry about any airflow being lost or anything like that. So it makes it a lot easier. Now, what are the risks of quarantining your animals? Well, the only risk that I can think of is maybe the animal stressing out a little bit, but again, that's why it's important to leave the animal be and not to handle that animal. Even sometimes when animals come in and you're quarantining them, some of them won't even eat in quarantine. But if you're consistently trying to handle that animal in quarantine, and they're trying to establish themselves, or they're trying to quarantine, it's making it worse. So you definitely want to minimize handling, kind of really just be an observer at that point. I literally only go in my quarantine setups if I'm changing water. I will offer food if I think they'll eat, which all 4 of my new snakes have eaten, so I'm happy about that. I'm thrilled. And 3 of them have already shed, so I'm super excited about that. But other than that, I do not mess with them too much. So that's kind of why there's been like a little slowdown on TikTok and my reels and everything like that, because I've just been, number 1, I've been a little busier, but 2, I'm sure you guys are tired of seeing the same snakes. And it's crazy for me to say that, because I have 18 snakes now, and I'm like, dang, I feel like I'm showing off the same animals. But at the end of the day, you know, I want to put my animals first. So I've been giving them a little break, not pulling them out as much. I still handle them and still, you know, do my thing with them, but I'm not, you know, fidgeting and messing with them too much to where they're stressed out to any degree. So there's that. But you guys, it's been a while since you guys have seen this little girl here, my girl Nakia, and she's growing really well. I'm growing her consistently but slowly, and she's doing good. I'm super thrilled about her. Can't wait to you know, grow her out a little bigger, see if we can find a male for her. But yes, so, and then in the terms of how long to quarantine, I start with at least 30 days, at least minimum 30 days, because generally in that period, that is when you're going to see if, you know, if something was to go wrong. That's generally when you're going to see that issue. And there's been times when even after the 30 days, nothing has went wrong, but I still just wanted to give them some extra time to quarantine. So normally I jump like 30. All right, so my battery died on my camera. I guess I didn't charge it. But I don't even remember what I was saying. I think I was talking about even if I know an animal is healthy, I'll still extend it for like with her, I did like an extra 2 weeks just because I wanted to be sure. But obviously, I also didn't want to stress her out by moving her, so I wanted her to be prepared. And she was eating consistently for me. And here we are, a couple years later, and she's doing great. So from my experience, the one thing I've learned is don't rush the process. When you put your animals in quarantine, let them quarantine. You know, they're yours, they're with you, you know, you're going to be able to show them off eventually, but you are going to benefit so much more by letting them actually quarantine properly. So minimal handling, only, you know, feeding, obviously still offering food, but if they're shying away from it, don't do too much with the animal. Just let them relax, you know, and, you know, go from there. That's pretty much it. So I hope this video helps someone. I hope, you know, this video makes someone feel better. I don't know. Of course, if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Instagram. You can leave a comment. I would love for you guys to leave a comment. You guys have been killing it in the comments lately, so I really appreciate that. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Let's have some conversation. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at DW Exotics. And as always, stay exotic.